Andrew Hyatt. I want to talk to you today about EKG's new version, 0.5. It's a new major version. It's been a few months since the last one, so a lot's gone into this. And if you don't know what EKG is, briefly, it is a note-taking application for Emacs. And so it's similar in spirit to like org Roam, Denote. Those are much more popular, but there's significant design differences. So I think to certain ways of working, this works a lot better. It all depends on what you want. All those things, all those other systems are also great. It really kind of depends on the way you want to manage your notes. And the design choices here are a bit different. It's very tag-based. Instead of using a file system, we use SQLite database. And, that has certain advantages and disadvantages, which is interesting because, it gives us all better choices. So I want to talk about what makes this version, what's new in this version. If you want to know more about EKG, there's many more videos on my channel. So please, go ahead and learn about EKG and the other versions. So let's talk about the major things in 0.5. So first, we have inline tags. So I'm going to demonstrate on my own database, which is always sort of an adventure because I have some private things there, but I think we'll chance it. So we can start by doing EKG capture. Of course, it's always good to have a key for this, but I just want to show you the actual name of commands. And I've set this up to capture on the right side of my window, so it looks a little bit different by default, but I kind of like it like this, so it just takes up the right portion of the window. So I think one of the challenges for EKG, the way we've designed EKG, is we have this setup where the metadata about the note is on the top. So for example, tags. And then at the bottom, you have the actual note itself. That's great, but to add a tag, you have to go back up to the first line and add a tag, so you'd have to go, and be like, So yes, you can do that. But inline tags make it a little bit easier to just add a tag as you're writing without having to go back up to the tags line, which is a little inconvenient. And while we have inline tags, we can, in org mode, we can make links out of them. And in So anyway, let's just show you what I mean. So the very basics are like this. So just like I added test above, I could do the same thing here. This is let's just let autocomplete do its thing. Okay. And you can see it made it into a link. So, and I could go and, so you can see I could just kind of go to the tag here. And it works very well. Okay, but what do you do when it's a new tag? So you can add new tags, but the problem is the completion system in Emacs, the inline completion system, doesn't kind of let you complete something new. You can kind of only complete things that were there, of course, unless there's something I've missed. Emacs is very complicated. Sometimes there's ways to do things that I haven't quite figured out yet. But as far as I could tell, this is not possible. So you kind of have to just write it yourself. And what we can do is this. Specifically, a test inline tag test. So I don't think I have a tag called inline tags. So this should. So right now it's not going to link it because there's nothing to link to, first of all, and it just hasn't gone through the process of linkifying it. But once I save it, then we can say, we can see like show notes for today. And oh, you can see some other notes. So yes, you can see you can see sort of what I use this for. And you can see, yes, we have correctly linked this. And so if you go there, we have my new tag, inline tag. Okay. So this is interesting, but let's open this up again. And it gets a little bit more, we could do slightly more complicated things. So the idea is like, yes, that's how you complete tags, but some tags are special. In EKG, we have this notion of like, there could be prefixes to tag. So for example, people, like you could do whatever you want to. By default, I have people tags be like person / like identifier for the person. So for those kinds of tags, you could use a special character, another besides the hash symbol, to do those inline tags, and then you don't have to add the prefix. Let me kind of show you what I mean here. By the way, you can see my tags now has that inline tag, and that means that I could delete the inline tag, but it's just going to come back. Okay, so I have to delete the text and the inline tag to get rid of the tag. This is the downside of inline tags. It's a little bit harder to get rid of tags now. But I think this is a pretty reasonable trade-off, given how easy it is to kind of like tagify your text now. So what if I want to say like, I hear that RMS likes parrots. Okay, so that will take me to a special tag called person RMS. I don't have any tags because I don't really have notes about Richard Stallman yet. But you can see that, okay, so you can link to people. And I find this extremely helpful. So like, especially, like, oh, at whoever, something, at someone told me to do this, whatever. Okay, so then you could kind of like bring up them and see like, okay, these are all the things I know about this person, all the notes that are related to this person. Super, super useful, and you can now inline tag them really easily. And I also kind of like the having ideas as a sort of idea / and then an idea. So for example, this is just kind of goes to the way I think it's useful to write notes, and I think I'll do another video on this later, like the right way to organize your life using EKG. But I think it's useful to kind of bring a lot of notes together that talk about the same idea. So like, for example, I could say, I could use the prefix, the exclamation point, which is the idea prefix. So I don't think this is something I do in my work context a lot, but I don't do it in my home context enough yet. But I can kind of show you what that looks like. So for example, it says like, this goes back to my idea of, yeah, so it kind of looks like this, of always note what people like so you can help them have a more exciting life. Okay, and that gets turned into this idea / blah, blah, blah. So like the big thing here, okay? Okay. And actually see a slight bug here that there's deleting spaces. I'll fix that before the release. But you can see what this is like. Okay, so that is my okay, let's talk about EKG Autosave. This is like a contributed package. You could use it, you cannot use it, just like many of the other things like EKG logseq. So this is optional, but if you are someone who spends a lot of time writing drafts, capturing notes in EKG, then this is useful because it'll automatically save your drafts, your notes. So like, let me say you can do EKG capture, and then as you write, it'll continuously save to drafts. Like in a similar way, you could sort of save now. I think I've demonstrated this previously, but temporary note, you could save it, and it will be saved to drafts. And if you just kill it now, okay, it's not going to show up, but it'll be in your drafts tag. So you can, and there's a command to get that. So it will automatically do that. And so this is really nice for those of you who spend a lot of time, and don't just, if you're just taking quick captures, that's great. EKG is well suited for that, but you could also take longer captures, and autosave might save your important work in that case. So I would recommend it to anyone who has those automatic has those particular needs. Okay, so let me delete that. Okay, trash simplification. I'm not going to demonstrate this. I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to talk about it. Trash. It was the case that I have this idea like, oh, if you trash a note, it should just transform. You should be able to trash it sort of tag by tag. So like that would make all your tags become trash tags. It was just complicated. It didn't have a lot of upsides, or really any upsides after I sort of simplified things. So now there's just a trash tag. If you trash it, trash things, it just gets, just like drafts, it's like some tag is just added. You have your note, it has your normal tags, it has trash. It's not going to show up anywhere else if it has that trash tag. And you can kind of show EKG show notes and trash, and it'll show your trash, and you can delete it from there, where it will get permanently deleted. Okay, so we also have org mode improvements. So this means if you do EKG capture, because we have these properties at the top of the buffer, that sort of interferes with how org mode works in some instances. So this is just the very beginning of trying to solve this problem. But at least for some commands, and you could change what commands these are, we sort of, before the command executes, we narrow it to this, the part of the buffer that's really just the note. And we can't do that for all org commands, because org takes over lots of commands, like just moving up and down. But what we can do is for at least some things, like org insert, now you can sort of just insert something like that. And it used to complain, and now it doesn't, and things work a little better. And so I think as we get more experience, we'll add more to this sort of variable. You can read all about it in the docs that controls this behavior. So finally, let's delete that. Finally, canceling a captured note. So we have also Qingshui also made some improvements here. And so basically, if you capture now, and this is like, have whatever, and then you try to kill it. Now we asked if you're sure. Say no. Okay, you can save it. You could not save it. You can kill it. You can do whatever you want. But let's say that you say this is a test. Okay, you save it, and then you're like, well, actually, this is a bad note. Even though I've saved it as a draft, I don't want to kill it, because that'll just keep the draft. I want to delete the draft, and I want to sort of, just quit out of here. So we have a new key bindings, Control-C, Control-K, that will delete it, just get you out of the experience, delete the draft. Okay, that note never existed. We'll pretend it never happened. And that is... Those are the major improvements. We also have a lot of different bug fixes. And so thanks to everyone who completed. Again, Qingshui contributed quite a few fixes there. So really the hero of this release. And thanks for everyone who's been trying this out. I think, we keep getting, EKG keeps evolving in certain ways, and I am pretty happy with the way that it's evolving. It continues to get more useful, at least to me. and it kind of is, now serving the needs of kind of different kinds of users. The users who take, want to have bigger notes or take notes that take more time and then things like that. So I hope that the changes in 0.5 are helpful. We have a discussion in our GitHub, which I'll link to at the in the notes. And please feel free to open a discussion there or contribute to one of the discussions that already exist. Open an issue. Happy to have you there as part of the EKG community. Thank you.